whenever we do get this thing started, clearly there will not have been an offseason the likes of which we're accustomed to. They may even wind up having to do a truncated preseason and training camp. What would you see as the biggest challenges for teams and coaches coming out of something like that?
Yeah, look, I've been through this kind of scenario, obviously much different circumstances, but back in 2011 when we came out of the lockout year and came out of the lockout and then the new CBA was signed and everything was accelerated right at the beginning of training camp in August when I was with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I can tell you this, we had a lot of turnover that year as far as new players coming in. We had some changes on the defensive side of the ball as far as new coaches and everyone trying to kind of really get up to speed very quickly. And I can tell you it's almost impossible. It's impossible for new coaching staffs to really be on the same level as far as knowing exactly what they want to get done and being able to teach players and integrate new players into a scheme. It's impossible for a new coaching staff to do that, as well as what Sean is referring to, a much more veteran coaching staff that has had a lot of continuity and or a roster that's had a lot of continuity. So you're going to see the new coaching staffs. There's no question. There's no other way for them to, there's no way for them not to be behind the staffs that are established. Look, I've talked to a couple of teams. I've talked to one team in particular who right now is sitting back and saying, look, they're pretty good with how things are going to go if, in fact, you aren't going to have an offseason at all and you're going to start in training camp. And they're pretty relaxed about the draft and the start of training camp because they are a veteran staff, both on the personnel side and on the coaching staff side, though. So there's no question. Sean hit the nail right on the head that way. Those veteran coaching staffs are going to have a leg up. There's just no way around it.
And Booger, I'd like to ask you about the highest profile situation in the NFL now, which, of course, is Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, and you make your home there in Tampa, so you're as close to it as a person can be at this point. He is a 20-year veteran, but it's an all-new team, all new teammates, and all-new system. How much of a problem do you think this is for him trying to get up to speed?
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit of an issue, but I think Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich have said it the best. They're not going to ask the other players on the team to learn new terminology. They're going to ask the guy that's been to 9 Super Bowls and won 6, the 20-year veteran. Tom Brady's going to come in. He's going to be forced to learn some of the new terminology and learn some of the new plays. And Greeny, I think the biggest thing with all of this is familiarity. And Lou, and you know this, when you're a coach, you want to rep it and rep it and rep it over again, all throughout OTAs and all throughout mini camps. And then when you come back to training camp, what do most coaches do? They start over from day one with day one install because of the familiarity, and they want to make sure that you can remember and recall what we did in OTAs and what we did in mini camps. And so I think it's going to hurt the players and coaches a little bit. But coaches and teams are going to start day one install and move from there. So I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal. I do think somehow NFL players and coaches will figure it out.
Now, they're all in the same boat one way or the other, but there should be an advantage for those, as we point out, that have been together a long time. All right, one more thing. To me, this is enormous. It's almost not getting enough attention, and that is the league's decision yesterday to expand the playoffs to 14 teams. They went 30 years in the previous system. Only the 1 seeds from each conference will get a bye. Look at this here. Each of the last 7 Super Bowls, all of the teams involved, going back to 2012, the teams that got into the Super Bowl had first-round byes. 2 seeds won the championships each of the last 2 years. Last year's Chiefs, the year before, the Patriots. So this is a huge change for the NFL going forward. Very simply, Booger McFarland, do you like it?
No, Greeny, I don't. And here's the reason why. I think when you look at what we've had, which it rewards the top 2 seeds, especially teams that go on and have outstanding season. You get that bye, and that bye is important from a mental health and a physical health standpoint. Also, I don't like adding teams to the postseason, Greeny. I think it should be hard to win a championship, and the more people that you bring into it, the more people that you give an opportunity to, you're rewarding mediocrity. Because when we talk about the Rams and the Steelers, we both know those situations, it was highly unlikely, based on the regular season that the Rams and the Steelers had, they were going to make any kind of hay in the postseason, but we're going to reward them and bring them into the postseason. I don't like it, and it's definitely going to pay a big deal for teams not getting that bye.
Lewis, you like it or no?
Yeah, look, I kind of do like it, although I do see what Booger is talking about as far as, maybe you're quote-unquote devaluing the regular season a little bit and you're rewarding teams that necessarily weren't at their very best during the regular season, and then they could get hot once they get in the playoffs and go on a run and win the championship, and then you wind up saying, well, what do we play the regular season for if everybody can just get in? I get that point. But I think at the same time, when it comes down to, week 14, 15, 16, 17, you're going to see teams really still playing, to the wall as far as making sure that they're putting their best foot forward. Both those teams that are vying for that number 1 seed and those teams that are typically 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 teams still playing to their max to try and get that last wild card spot. Because I can tell you this, I've been on both sides of it. I've been on teams where we knew we were going to make it to the playoffs, we couldn't really improve our seed, and you can almost go into some sort of cruise control a little bit in that way. And then I've also been on teams that are out of it as far as the playoffs are concerned. You have very minimal chance of getting in there, and you can go on cruise control too, and you have guys sitting there looking forward to the offseason already. This keeps everybody engaged, or rather keeps more teams engaged. I think hopefully the benefit of that will be that you'll have better football in late December, and that's good for the fans. And look, and we all know, more games means more money for the league, and we know what that, we know how important that is to everyone involved.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.